Hello, and a very warm welcome back to my dear listeners. This is your host Sharmishta, back with the game of illusions. Kiriti and Sheila are on their way home. Sheila was lost in her thoughts as she gazed out of the window. The taxi sped towards the mansion. Kiriti looked at her. Miss Rai, uh, Miss Rai, could you answer a question of mine? She turned to look at him. What question, Mr. Sinha? Why are you still pursuing this ray of false hope? False hope, Mr. Sinha? Isn't that what it is? You mean nothing for this man, Aniruddha. Miss Rai, are you sure you haven't made a mistake? Sheila remained silent. Miss Rai, your silence makes me assume that you still think he's the Aniruddha you knew. Think carefully, Miss Rai. And even if I were to think for a moment that this man is the Aniruddha you knew, his behavior towards you is a complete contrast. I mean, you said you had known each other for a while, but whatever time period may have elapsed in between, it's still not enough to forget someone. Are you sure you haven't made a mistake? Sheila remained silent. Very well, Miss Rai. You choose not to answer. Then tell me, why does he refuse to recognize you? Or is there a selfish motive behind his behavior? This time Sheila looked at Kiriti. What selfish motive could there be, Mr. Sinha? Miss Rai, if I knew the answer to that, I would have solved this mystery. But anyways, let's leave that aside for now. Tell me, after your recovery from that accident, you stayed in Kashi for 5-6 months at Jagad Babu's ashram, isn't it? Yes. Yes, I was there. But why? When you recovered and also got your memory back, why didn't you come straight to Kolkata? I didn't feel like getting back, Mr. Sinha. And why was that? I saw in the newspaper that Aniruddha's name was among the deceased. And how did you know, Miss Rai, that he was not dead? Someone informed me. Who was that someone? Please pardon me, Mr. Sinha, but I will not be able to disclose that person's name. Okay, as you wish. But Miss Rai, when you got to know that Aniruddha had survived the accident, why didn't you write to him? I didn't know then that this Aniruddha and the Aniruddha I know is the same person. So when did you get to know that? When I visited the solicitor's office and he showed me Aniruddha's photograph. I see. Miss Rai, in that mansion, in Narahari Babu's room, there is a photograph of his late sister. I mean Aniruddha's mother. Have you seen that photograph? No, I haven't, Mr. Sinha. Why? Please have a look at that photograph tomorrow. And yes, try to avoid Aniruddha Babu as much as you can. But why? Miss Rai, please do as I say. It's for your own good. The taxi had in the meanwhile reached the gates of the mansion. Miss Rai, you go inside. I shall pay the driver. Kiriti had just freshened up when the servant knocked. Sir, you have a phone call. A Guha Babu wants to talk to you. Kiriti narrowed his eyes. The solicitor? So late in the night? Kiriti nodded and left for the library. Hello, Mr. Guho. What's the matter? It's so late already. Uh, there is something I should have told you earlier, Kirti Babu. What is it? Well, apart from Narahari Babu's bank balance and fixed assets, there is also a sizable number of precious jewels and jewelry pieces too. What? Jewels? Yes, Kiriti Babu, precious stones, etc., jewels, jewelry. They actually belong to Narahari Babu's mother. And are these jewels mentioned in the will? No, not in this will. But he was planning to make another will and mention it there. He had told so to my father. A new will? Yes, Kiriti Babu. He had told me about it 2 months before his death. Why didn't you tell me all this earlier, Mr. Guho? I didn't find the necessity to say so earlier, but today my partners at our firm asked me to inform you. Thank you. And where are these jewels? Bank? I don't know that, Kiriti Babu, but they are not in the bank's locker. Do you have any idea where they might be? It's an assumption, but they might be in the mansion, in Narahari Babu's iron chest, or somewhere in his room, or somewhere in the mansion, perhaps. Was that iron chest opened after Narahari Babu's death, Mr. Guho? Yes, indeed, but I did not search for those jewels then. In fact, I didn't remember to. That chest was opened in front of Aniruddha Babu, and only the will was taken out, and then I locked it again. The keys will remain with me till the conditions of his will are sorted out. Where is that iron chest? In Narahari Babu's room. And who wrote out this will? My father, Kiriti Babu, but I was there too. Mr. Guho, do you know why Narahari Babu wanted to make another will? Did your father ever mention anything about it? Yes, Kiriti Babu. My father had told me that Narahari Babu had decided to give those jewels to Sheila. Hence he wanted to make a new will. Ah, okay. And in what way would that be done? Well, it is like this. Aniruddha and Sheila will not get any part of the inheritance if they don't get married. Aniruddha, of course, would receive a fixed amount of money every month, which I eventually stopped. But Sheila, even if she didn't marry Aniruddha, she would still get those jewels. Ah, interesting. Very, very interesting. Nice love story. What did you say, Mr. Rai? Oh, nothing. Just that Narahari Babu seems to have dearly loved Sheila's mother. After the phone call, Kiriti sat awake for a long time, wondering if Sheila knew about the jewels. Yet another twist. The maze seems to be getting deeper. A new revelation. Those jewels. Strange that Narahari Babu would want to leave the jewels for Sheila. Our detective here has one more task on hand, to find those jewels. So will he succeed? Let's find out when I return soon with the next episode. Till then,